Nirvana is often remembered as the band that redefined an era, an explosive force that brought grunge into the mainstream and gave a voice to an entire generation's disillusionment. Fronted by the tortured genius of Kurt Cobain, Nirvana rose from the underground Seattle scene in the late 80s to become the reluctant kings of alternative rock in the early 90s. With hits like Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, and Lithium, they changed the landscape of music forever. But behind the iconic sound, plaid shirts, and anti-establishment attitude was a band struggling with internal demons, personal traumas, and pressures far more suffocating than most fans ever realized. The truth is, Nirvana's story is not just one of meteoric success, it's one marked by deep emotional pain, addiction, and a devastating unraveling that still echoes through the music world today. Kurt Cobain was never comfortable in the spotlight. While the public embraced him as a generational icon, he viewed fame with suspicion and disdain. Born into a broken home and raised in poverty, Cobain battled feelings of abandonment and insecurity from a young age. His childhood trauma, including his parents' bitter divorce and bouts of homelessness, fueled the raw, confessional lyrics that define Nirvana's sound. But those same wounds also made him emotionally fragile. As Nirvana's fame exploded after the release of Nevermind in 1991, Cobain's internal battles intensified. He turned increasingly to heroin as a form of escape, not just from physical pain he reportedly suffered from chronic stomach issues, but also from the crushing expectations of fame. The darkness wasn't limited to Cobain alone. Nirvana as a unit was often chaotic and unstable. Behind the scenes, tensions were rising. Cobain's heroin use caused rifts with bandmates Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl, who were trying to keep the band together while their frontman spiraled. Though Grohl would later become a rock titan in his own right with Foo Fighters during Nirvana's final years, he often found himself caught in a volatile environment, one marked by Cobain's erratic behavior, health scares, and increasing isolation. The band's third and final studio album, In Utero, released in 1993, is perhaps the most telling product of their unraveling, raw, abrasive, and filled with existential despair. Cobain's relationship with Courtney Love, too, was fraught with controversy and codependency. The couple's tumultuous marriage, drug use, and constant media scrutiny created a toxic cycle that seemed to only deepen Cobain's depression. Despite brief moments of clarity, including a rehab stint just weeks before his death, Cobain ultimately lost the battle. On April 5, 1994, he took his own life at just 27 years old, leaving behind a daughter, a band in ruins, and a legacy forever stained with tragedy. What many don't realize is that Nirvana's fall was not sudden, it was a slow, painful burn masked by roaring guitars and anthemic choruses. Beneath the success was a man who felt trapped by the very adoration he once craved. Nirvana wasn't just a symbol of rebellion, they were a cry for help wrapped in distortion. And while their music lives on, the story behind it remains a heartbreaking reminder that even the loudest voices can be drowned out by silence. The band that changed the world did so while quietly falling apart, making their story far darker than we ever dared to see.